All right, are we live? So, anyway, it's been a while. New episode, new laptop actually. My laptop that started after my trusty iPad died. The laptop, same fate, same fate as the iPad. Poof. And I had to go out and get a new one, and boy, that was a bitch to get one. Because everything's sold out now. Like, everything is disappearing, just like the toilet paper on the shelves. So I had to go find, luckily, like, my dad, was like, oh, I know somebody who has a laptop. They want to sell it. It's a touchscreen, by the way. And I'm just like, my eyes just lit up like, touchscreen? Laptop? Alright. So, anyway, a lot was asked, like, why wasn't there a Monday episode? Why there wasn't a Tuesday episode? Monday was Memorial Day, and I spent it with my family. Tuesday, I didn't get to do an episode because I had to watch my youngest niece and nephew, because my sister, who is expecting, my oldest sister, my second oldest sister, is expecting her third kid. So I decided to stay with my niece and nephew while she gets the ultrasound and everything done. So that's why I didn't get to do yesterday's episode. And today's episode, of course, is, making up for after we went to Half Price Books, back-to-the-back issues, which I haven't got to do in a long time because many comic shops and bookstores like Half Price Books are closed. And now they're reopened and new rules and stuff happened, and boy oh boy, did things change. So, so this episode I'm making up for a lot of 2 episodes that was missed. Tomorrow, fortunately, there won't be an episode for tomorrow. I have to take my dad to the doctor. He's been dealing with a lot, mentally and physically. This whole year has been a drain on him, and we have to get him checked out. I really want to get him checked out, see how he's doing. I will say 2020 has not been a good year for him. And I think, this whole thing is just, this whole year has just been a fucking plague on everybody. And especially him, like, he took the big brunt hit of it. My uncle, his brother, passed away. A lot of divide in the family, and they all really went at him. Like, they just went right at my dad for everything, and it's kind of been a fucked up year. So it's been kind of a fucked up year. So anyway, tomorrow I won't be doing an episode. I'll just be focusing, take him to the doctor, hang out with him. Try to make him, cheerful, So, anyway, let's play the intro song. I do like the new format for this podcast episode. It kind of reminds me of the iPad. So let's play the intro, shall we? I'm gonna use touchscreen. I'm not gonna use mouse pad. I'm gonna use touchscreen on this one. So, yeah. So, I'll be back. Let me prepare for everything. So, and the burp. So, since the Snyder Cut, everything's been kind of out there. Exciting. Yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm excited for the Snyder Cut, and there's been a lot of discussions, such as Ben Affleck coming back as the Batman, and also there's been a lot of discussion about Ruby Rose departing as the Batwoman, which I actually feel really bad for. I feel bad for her that she gave up on a role. I mean, I wouldn't say give up, but, you know, put herself before the role. And, you know, there's been a lot of discussions about who's going to replace her. There's talk about a WWE women's wrestler possibly replacing her. Sonya Deville, I think is her name. I haven't watched WWE in a while, so my phone went off. Yeah, my my email notification is pretty funny. It's Timmy going, you know, saying, "Holy shit, holy shit, holy crap." I'm not making this up. Yesterday, my phone went off, and like everybody was just like looking at me like, "What the fuck?" So that's what was funny about it. That's what I like about it. I just like that, you know, notification thing. One ringtone is finger bang, which is just. I never got that as a ringtone because I just feel like I would piss somebody off. Like, I pissed off enough people in stores. Because, you know, I like wearing my DC Bombshells Catwoman t-shirt. And man, I get a lot of dirty looks from people who see that shirt. Like, they just don't like it. Like, one time I was in, like, Trader Joe's, not recently. Like, I think a while back, like, before COVID hit. And a lot of people got, like, offended by it by saying, like, how can you wear a shirt like that? You know, how can you wear a shirt like that? How dare you wear a shirt like that? And I like wearing it because, one, it's comfortable, and two, I really like the design. You know, Catwoman is sexy on it. She looks confident, and that's the thing I like about, you know, women who are, one, sexy, confident, and headstrong. That's the one thing I like. And I like that shirt. It just makes me, you know, happy to wear the shirt like that, because I think women should be like that, in my opinion. You know. So, anyway. Ruby Rose, the Batwoman. Former Batwoman. Actress Ruby Rose is taking the blame for leaving the Batwoman, which, one, I think she should not take the blame for it. I gave a defense for her leaving the show. I gave her a defense of it. Like, one, she she almost got, you know, paralyzed. She almost had paralysis after having, you know, a neck injury. You know. Two, she dealt with the brunt force of the whole show for, you know, its presentation of it, like, you know, men are bad, you know, type thing. Well, and you can't blame her for leaving the show. Like, one, it had a terrible promo. One, it had terrible selling of the product of what the show is. So, I mean, you can't really blame her for a lot of it. Like, you really can't, you know. And so, last Tuesday it was announced that Ruby Rose was parting ways from the Batwoman series, the CW network and WB-TV, days after the airing of the season 1 finale. So, like, she walked the fuck out. Like, after, season 1 finale aired, season 1's done, alright, I'm leaving. Like, she just, like, walked. Like, I think the main reasons of it was one, she nearly had a life-changing injury, which nearly gave her paralysis. Two, she had to, like, I think the traveling just, I don't think she knew what she was signing up for, because she had to film she was involved in the show in both Vancouver, which was dubbing for Gotham, and Los Angeles, which was, I think, the sound studio thing where I guess where it's at. So she was, like, filming in both parts. And I think Supergirl started out, like, it was filming in Los Angeles, then it moved to Vancouver because of budget reasons, because one, they were on the CBS the first season, then when they went to CW, they're like, yep, you gotta move to Vancouver, you know, lower budget. So specific details weren't made known at the time. According to a report from Variety, departure of Ruby Rose had to do with her being unhappy, which caused a lot of problems on the set. Oh shit. She was unhappy. She was unhappy. According to multiple sources, Rose was unhappy with the long hours required of her being as a series lead, which led to friction on set. And it was thus decided by her and the network and the studio, Warner Brothers Television, that they would part ways. Here's the thing. You have a role. A big role on a show. You should know what you're signing up for. You can't just be like, good morning. You can't, like, oh, by the way, we're talking about Ruby Rose. There's, like, new reports. Sorry, my Catwoman joined. Good luck with the show. Thank you, love. So far we kicked it off. I'm reading this article where Ruby Rose was unhappy being Batwoman, unhappy with being the series lead of the show Batwoman. So she was unhappy. So she was unhappy being as the series lead. One, you signed up for Batwoman. You are Batwoman. You are the title role. What do you expect to happen? You're going to be taking the big... You're going to be basically carrying the show on your back throughout the show. So you're basically going to be doing that. You're going to be carrying the whole fucking season. So it's also mentioned that this had special speculation. The real reason Ruby Rose decided to leave Batwoman because of all the injuries she suffered on the set, which I mentioned that. Which I will defend her on that one. If you get hurt on a show where you are basically trusting somebody with your body on the show and you injure that person, you should be required, you should be held responsible for it. And I don't blame Ruby Rose for wanting to exit the show and stuff. And I mean, here it is, like, there was speculation rampant for the reason of her exit of the series, was speculation due to her pain due to emergency surgery, which underwent 2 herniated discs. But here it is. She had to undergo emergency surgery for 2 herniated discs that almost left her facing paralysis. That, and again, that said, is not being reason of the case. I am throwing the flag down on bullshit. Because if I hypothetically played Batman, I'm going to use Batman as an example, and I got 2 injured discs in my back or neck or whatever, that almost leave me paralyzed, I'd be walking the fuck away from the show or movie. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm leaving. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just saying. You know. Because, one, you don't want to be paralyzed. I mean, shit, I have a paralyzed leg and I don't even like it. You know? Like, I don't fucking like it. So, I believe that she, left the show because of her health reasons. It's also, the article delivers mental health issues that Ruby Rose has suffered, but stops short stating the factor that is the factor of the Batwoman departure. It's noted that Ruby Rose posted on Instagram October of 2019 that she's been struggling with mental health her entire life, including attempted suicide multiple times and hospitalization. Regarding to the new Batwoman announced, the creators are seeking another LGBTQ actress to play the lead role in season 2, which has already been greenlit for 2021 of January. I'm going to give it to 3 different reasons why she possibly departed. 1, she nearly got severely life-changing injury of paralysis that almost happened. 2, mental health issues. Here's the thing. A lot of people who have mental health issues, me, of course, have, depression, anxiety. We cannot handle a heavy load. I mean, we cannot handle heavy load of shit coming towards us. And remember, when she was first announced as Batwoman, she got fucking bashed for being cast as Batwoman. From both the comic book fandom and the lesbians. Bashing her, saying the most ridiculous, saying the thing like she wasn't lesbian enough to be Batwoman. And comic book fans saying she's too skinny to be Batwoman, she's too thin, she can't. All these things. Like, she got fucking bashed for being cast as Batwoman. And it's no wonder that she walked away. I don't blame her. And I watched some of her. I watched her in Orange is the New Black. I watched her in the that one movie with Jason Statham and Rainn Wilson. She was great in that one. She was good in Orange is the New Black. And I said, like, if you give her a proper good writer who understands the character in Kate Kane, she would deliver a great performance. And I honestly think, like, she just did not give the opportunity to show that she could play the role. And I feel horrible for her. And I think that, if they would have put her in, like, if Matt Reeves made Batwoman, if Matt Reeves was, like, involved as a producer of, like, Batwoman, movie, or an HBO Max series, which Batwoman, in my opinion, should be either on DC Universe or HBO Max, she would have delivered a great performance. But instead, they gave her, like, this shitty ass version of Batwoman. So, in my opinion, I don't blame her for walking away. I really don't. So, I feel bad for her. I hope she does. I hope she has a great future. I'm sure she does. In my opinion, she deserved better, in my opinion. So I think she deserved a lot better, in my opinion, to play Batwoman. So, I mean, the sad part is, like, if you watch, like, the Elseworlds crossover where, like, she shows up, like, she did a really great job in it, in my opinion. She, like, they should have just picked up after that. But instead, like, we had to give her an origin story. We had to give her, it's like, that's what killed it. Like I said, like, when they first announced it, I had no problem with her playing Batwoman. I really didn't. The problem I had was the people who were writing it. The writers I always had problems with because, the writer she didn't get it. Like, the showrunner did not get the character or anything of it. So, anyway. It's been announced that Labyrinth, remember the David Bowie Labyrinth? They announced a sequel. I don't know why, but they are. So, this one kind of piqued my interest. It involves Spider-Man. It involves Tobey Maguire. Spider-Man. It's claimed that Tobey Maguire will be back again as Spider-Man, again paired with Sam Raimi. According to Lords of the Long Box YouTube channel, Tobey Maguire will be back as Spider-Man in the live-action Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. It is said that the live-action Into the Spider-Verse movie will give Tobey Maguire a farewell similar to Robert Downey Jr.'s farewell into the Avengers in the Avengers Endgame. The flick will be the chance for director Sam Raimi to say goodbye to his beloved character, Spider-Man. It's also said the flick will lead to introductions of live-action versions of Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's worth mentioning that the Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, so they can do whatever they want with the character on film. It's rumored that it sounds as Marvel Studios will be involved. I would love to see Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man. I would love to see him back as Spider-Man. I would love to see Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. James Franco. No. I'm sorry. No. I would love to see, Spider-Man. Sam Raimi come back, direct Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man. It would be great for that reason. Spider-Man 3 wasn't a bad movie as everybody says it is. I mean, I rewatched it recently and I kind of was like, this movie isn't bad. I love that they have Snow Patrol do a song, Signal Fire or something. I forget the title of it. The Killers had a song in it. The sound. That's the thing about it. Like, that's the thing I miss about movies is the soundtrack. Like, I love the Batman Forever soundtrack. I love the Batman and Robin soundtrack, even though I don't really particularly care for the movie. But I love the soundtrack because you have R. Kelly, you have Smashing Pumpkins, you have REM, the Goo Goo Dolls. You have a lot of good fucking music in that movie. Batman Forever, Seal. U2. I mean, you had really good music and those soundtracks and stuff, and I would love to see, Batman, the new Batman movie with Pattinson have a soundtrack. I mean, shit, Twilight had a good soundtrack. You had Muse, and the sad part about it is, I forget which one it is. I think it was Eclipse is what it's titled. my favorite band of all time, The Bravery, had a song. I think it was in Twilight Eclipse. Is that what it's called? Eclipse? They had a song in it, which actually became their final song they ever recorded together as a band. And that always hits me, like, man, like they were such a good band, The Bravery. They did the song Ours, and that became like their final song they ever recorded as a band. And I remember hearing the song, going like, oh, I can't wait. And they were talking about they were talking about a fourth album. Was that a fourth? Yeah, it was fourth album. There was a self-titled album, The Sun and the Moon, Stir of Blood. Yeah, the fourth album. And they were like, after that song, we're gonna do a fourth album. We have like a lot of like stuff in the works. They went radio silent. And they were like, we're taking a definite hiatus, which meant like we're fucking done as a band. And I remember going like, oh, if they didn't do that fucking song for Twilight, this wouldn't have happened. But I think they were done as a band. I know that it's kind of weird though with The Bravery, like, two of the members are in a band now together. The Mercy Beat. Sam and Anthony are in the Mercy Beat. Mike Hindert, the bass player, has his own record label, his own thing he's doing. John has his own winery now, I think. A winery. And Michael, the guitarist, nobody knows where the fuck he went. That's like the one thing I've always been asking, is like, where the fuck did he go? Like, he was a good guitarist, man. Like, he really, like he was a great guitarist. And I think it's a shame that they didn't like show what he could do. Like, I remember they were on Letterman, playing Believe, the Moon version for The Sun and the Moon Complete. And I remember he was playing the organ, and man, he was like fucking killing it, and it was really awesome, And it's a shame that they never, like, the album they did, the Stir of Blood, their third album, it wasn't bad. It just was, I think after it kind of became like the Moon version of The Sun and the Moon Complete. It was just kind of like that. And I really loved the album Sun and the Moon. It kind of showed that they had like a lot of like potential to do things. And I felt like Stir of Blood was kind of a step back for them. In my opinion, like, it was kind of like how the Smashing Pumpkins did Adore. Like, there's some songs I like in Adore by the Smashing Pumpkins, and there's like some parts like I'm thinking like, where are they going? But in my opinion, I feel like Stir of Blood was sort of like a step back for them, because I don't know what it was. It was just kind of like, I always felt like it was a step back. It just wasn't what I hope it would be, I don't know. It's just kind of my opinion of it. But, anyway. Sam Raimi's already back with Marvel, directing Doctor Strange 2. I hope one thing I hope for Sam Raimi is like, he is really good at doing horror movies. I hope Doctor Strange 2 kind of goes into that mixture of the magical, supernatural with horror element. Like, I kind of hope that Raimi does something outside the park and stuff. Because a lot of the Marvel movies are just the same. And a big part of me just hopes Sam Raimi doesn't follow, in that lane of like other directors of Marvel. And by the way, it's raining. I have my window open. It was like raining all night. So maybe Raimi will stick around to direct a second multiverse movie with a live-action Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated movie, which is really popular, its sequel is due out October 7th of 2022. Raimi directed Tobey Maguire in 3 Spider-Man movies early 2000s that brought over $2.5 billion. The person who wrote the article said, I spoke to Sam Raimi a few years ago where we talked about Evil Dead with Spidey mentioned. Cool dude. I would love to see Tobey Maguire come back as Spider-Man. I really would. I would love to see him come back because sorry, I had to burp. He deserves a proper send-off, in my opinion. He really does. And I feel like Spider-Man 3 just wasn't the way to go. Like they need to do like older Spider-Man who just sort of like I don't know what they could do with it. But I would love to see a cool Spider-Man movie. Like I would love to see Maguire come back. Andrew Garfield come back. If they let Andrew Garfield come back. Like I never seen any actor like torpedo his own career that quickly. That quickly in my life. Yeah. Like that dude just like So anyway, from one possible former hero coming back to another, there's 2 stories I attached to this one. Ben Affleck. Let's start with the Jeff Johns Ben Affleck situation. Jeff Johns is to blame for Ben Affleck leaving The Batman, as well as the Solo movie, which follows. It's said that Johns also screwed over Zack Snyder on Justice League. Something that sounds like something straight out of the comics, Jeff Johns may be the secret villain behind the scenes and responsible for the destruction of the DCEU. In a YouTube video posted by Grace Randolph, it goes over things she would like to see included in the Snyder Cut of the Justice League movie that is coming to HBO Max, which actually launched, and I have not signed up for it yet. HBO Max recently launched. It'll have, what I've read, it'll have like all the DC Universe streaming shows on the HBO Max. So we might get to see, stuff. But also, there's also been talks about other shows, which I will read the article to as well. That's coming to HBO Max, the streaming service, next year. She makes a remark how Ben Affleck leaving the Batman is because of Jeff Johns. She states, he's been surprisingly vocal. A lot of times actors don't want to get involved. Jason Momoa was crazy, but is it a big deal for Ben Affleck to be involved, especially after he said no to doing the Batman film? But again, studio interference. She laughed so bad. He was like, this is the Batman movie I would like to make. I think it was Jeff Johns, right? But someone was like, we don't want to make this one. Ben Affleck was like, then I'm out. and it's that frustrating. I never seen like an actor like walk away that quickly, but again, Ben Affleck had a lot of his own personal demons, which I think a lot of people exploited and caused him to be like, you know what, I don't have time for it. Geoff Johns was involved developing a Batman film back in 2012, which is odd because 2012 was when The Dark Knight Rises came out, and he was already like on board. What's interesting about what Grace has said was possibly Geoff Johns was going to do another version of the Batman movie way back in 2016 before Man of Steel was released. I was told by a DC insider that they were planning a new Batman film titled The Batman. I was also told it would feature the Batman in his second year becoming a hero. Does that sound interesting? Like, isn't Robert Pattinson's Batman film about Batman in his second year as a hero? And isn't Geoff Johns' Batman Earth 1 about, in his first book, Batman in his second year as a hero? This dude was like wanting to make this movie. Again, back in 2012, the same description. Batman is in his second year as a hero. It's reported recently about Matt Reeves' The Batman film. Back then, I was told that they wanted a pretty boy to play Batman. Years later, Ben Affleck was gone, and we seen a casting of Robert Pattinson as the role of Batman in his second year being a hero. I'm sure if Robert Pattinson heard this, he'd be like, what the fuck did I sign up for? Like, I mean, that's the thing about it. Like, that's the thing that I got into like this debate when I talked about Nicolas Cage's Superman movie, and I got into this debate with my cousin. She was just like, I don't get it. Like, why do you like the idea of Nicolas Cage playing Superman? I was like, don't you get it? It'd be really interesting. I mean, we got Nicolas Cage, who was also in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, playing Spider-Man Noir Spider-Man, which he is awesome in that. I think that was him in it. I think he played Spider-Man Noir. Like, I know they're talking about Spider-Man 2099 being in Spider-Man 2, the Into the Spider-Verse sequel. And once I heard like Spider-Man 2099 is going to be in Into the Spider-Verse 2, I was just like, take my fucking money. I want to see that. Because yeah, Nicolas Cage played Spider-Man Noir, and he was awesome in that one. And Nicolas Cage also did the voice of Superman in Teen Titans Go, which was awesome. I was so happy to see him as Superman in that one. But, and I remember I got into this like debate. I was just like, well, if you look at Superman, it's always played by George Reeves, Christopher Reeves, Tom Welling, Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill. They have all these pretty boy actors playing Superman. Nicolas Cage's version of Superman would be fucking crazy. Because you would look at him and you're like, there is no way that dude is Superman. It's the same way as Michael Keaton. When they cast Michael Keaton as Batman, you look at Michael Keaton, you're like, you know what? I don't believe this dude could be Batman, but he's the kind of dude that needs a bat suit to convince people that I'm Batman. That's what you need. You need an actor who you can look at, you're like, there's no way this dude is a fucking hero. And Nicolas Cage, you see him as Clark Kent, you see him as, disheveled looking. You're like, there's no way this dude is Superman. Just look at him. He's barely human, you know. And Nicolas Cage is one of those actors that is sort of like Derek Jacobi and company, because they're sort of like the forgotten actor. And Derek Jacobi, by the way, is back on his one new show. He's back on the show. I forget the title. Tango and something. Like, he's back doing that show, which is really cool. They did the new season. I watched it. And again, it's a great show. Tango in Halifax, I think is what it's called. And it's a really good show, by the way. I recommend it to anybody who likes British comedy. British romance and comedy. Anyway, they're one of those forgotten actors that, you know, that plays the hero and stuff. They're kind of forgotten, and that's the sad thing about it. Like, I got another email. So anyway, I said that, like, you know, Nicolas Cage is a great actor, and not only is he's a comic book fan, but he really wanted to reinvent Superman. You know, and I highly recommend watching the Death of Superman Lives: What Happens by John Schnepp. It's a good film, but there's also a clip in the YouTube video. In the YouTube, there's a clip of Nicolas Cage in the Superman suits. Like, there was like different versions of it, and it's really amazing. Like, he gets into the character of Clark Kent, and it is really cool. And you watch him and Tim Burton, like, you could tell Nicolas Cage is like enthusiastic about playing Superman. He's like, there's several things we could do with this character. There's several, like, and he even talks about the Superman symbol. It's like, is this the symbol from the comics? And Tim Burton's like, Nicolas Cage asks Tim Burton that, and Tim Burton's like, well, you know, it's a mixture of that and also the new take on it. And it's like, you know, it's really cool watching him and Tim Burton go at it, like, talking about the character. And Superman's, and Nicolas Cage is like, the cape. He goes, there has to be a story behind this cape. Why does Clark wear this cape? You know, it's really cool. Like, I really like that part. And, you know, to me, it's like, it's really cool seeing Nicolas Cage go like right into small detail about the cape. So, back then, this is, yeah, yeah. All right. Could it be possible that the young Batman movie idea of Geoff Johns is now Matt Reeves is in part of adapting the original ideas? Did Johns throw a wrench into Zack Snyder's DCEU plans? I think he did. Including the Ben Affleck Batman movie. This isn't the only time Johns has been attached to controversy. Warner Brothers following the removal as DC Comics co-president Diana Nielsen said that Geoff Johns is not a buddy of mine. Regarding to the Ben Affleck's Batman movie was the best ever. While Affleck stated he left over not being able to get the script right, Affleck was probably playing a good guy role and not blaming anyone in particular, as Zack Snyder's DCEU storyboard artist and director behind the popular DC animated movies, Jay Olivia, stated that Ben Affleck's Batman movie was the best ever. Joe Manganiello, Snyder's choice to play Deathstroke, was supposed to star as the villain of Ben Affleck's Batman movie, also agreed and backed up those remarks. Jay Olivia responded to somebody on, I think, Batman on Film. Hey, hi Bill, the original Affleck script was the best I have ever read. Ben had a kick-ass story and I believe that the audience and fans would love it. Joe Manganiello responded with a check mark. I've always wanted to know what's in that script. And I've been a Ben Affleck fan since Good Will Hunting, and he's great in Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, even Jersey Girl. He was good in that one. He's a really great actor, and like Gone Girl, he was great in that one. The Town and stuff. And I remember Kevin Smith talked about it in one of his Q&A films, Evening with Kevin Smith or something. And he mentioned about Ben Affleck being cast as Daredevil. It was either that one or other interviews he did. He talked about Ben Affleck not wanting to play Daredevil. Originally, Matt Damon was approached to play Daredevil. Damon said no. And Ben Affleck was just like, I don't want to play Daredevil. I want to play Batman. And Kevin Smith was just like, dude, they're not going to do Batman for a while. Did you not remember Clooney? And the reason Affleck agreed to play Daredevil was that he was a fan of Frank Miller. And Miller, of course, did Batman, Dark Knight Returns, Year One. And Affleck was also a fan of Miller's run on Daredevil, which is pretty epic. And, it was that reason that, Affleck agreed to play Daredevil, and he was really good as Daredevil. I just felt like they didn't. I feel like the same thing. They had a good director, but the director shouldn't have been a writer. Even though he wrote Grumpy Old Men. And one thing I've heard about Affleck writing Batman was just that he wanted to write the most epic Batman movie ever. Recently, also saw Affleck dealing with Batman and Warner Brothers, which drove him back to drinking. Something he said he wanted to avoid when he was questioned about the Batman in the interview with Variety. However, Affleck is exercising his demons. He said, I showed somebody the Batman script. Affleck said of the sequel, which was, we would see Robert Pattinson taking over. Also, Affleck said that the sequel, which would see Robert Pattinson taking over the role. They said, I think the script is good. I also think you'll drink yourself to death if you go through what you just went through again, which was referring to the Justice League. It's also known that certain Warner Brothers executives massively interfered with David Ayer's Suicide Squad, which David Ayer's doing the same battle that Zack Snyder's been doing for a long time, and get the Ayer cut, which Zack Snyder was on board as executive producer recently. David Ayer confirmed the existence of the Ayer cut, saying that he battled Warner Brothers over his vision of the movie. It's reported that AT&T executives greenlit the Snyder cut release for HBO Max, which you really can't blame them because they want to make money back on that one. So that is a crazy ass story to read. Now let's get back to the Ben Affleck might be back as Batman. So Ben Affleck be back as Batman following the Snyder cut announcements on HBO Max. There's a wild rumor has hit the internet, offering a big announcement will come at the end of the year about Ben Affleck getting his own Batman series on HBO Max. Rumors offer that Ben Affleck's Batman series will follow the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie, which we would see Ben Affleck serve as the showrunner of the Batman series. So, Batman TV series, huh? It's said that Snyder would be on board as producer and Joe Manganiello would be back as Deathstroke. Rumor comes from the 4chan from a few days ago, which bear in mind AT&T has had fun with the fans on social media by teasing the possibility of Ben Affleck being back as Batman. So who knows what is exactly going on, but could it be possible? Ben Affleck rumor, Batman. Alright. Batfleck is getting his own HBO Max original series. Story follows directly from the Snyder Cut leaves off that Affleck will serve as a showrunner. Snyder is on board as executive producer. Manganiello is back as Deathstroke. Details whether it will be a miniseries or if they could get Affleck to do a multi-season contract are still in negotiations, except the official announcement towards the end of the year. Regarding what happened to Ben Affleck and Batman, one time Affleck was attached to do the Batman, he would star, write, direct, and Affleck decided to depart from it. Oh boy. I don't know what to expect from it. I'd like to see him back as Batman. I would. But, you know, it would be one of those things, like, you need to sort of, like, you know, not have one Batman interfere with another Batman. You know, I think, honestly, like, if they would get him to do, like, you know, I think they could do it. Like, you know, you could have Robert Pattinson's Batman film be released in theaters. That's if people would go to the theaters and sit through a 2-hour movie wearing a mask. And you can have the Ben Affleck Batman films where it would be... I think they could do it, in my opinion. I mean, you can't have enough Batman films. But I don't know. I think they could do it. I think that the many people signing up for HBO Max and hearing the possibilities of the Snyder Cut film coming to HBO Max, I think they could do it. I think there would be a great Batman film. You know, it's just my thought of it. But who knows? I mean, if they say, like, hey, you know what, we're going to do a Batman film, alright, cool. I'm in, you know. So, anyway, I'm going to take a quick break real quick. I need something to drink. So, anyway. Is anybody here? Alrighty. So, hold on. So, anyway. Oh, alright. So for me, I think that they could do... I think they could do it. I mean, like... I think it would be really cool to see, you know, Ben Affleck come back as Batman. You know, I mean, like, I always talked about it. Like, I always talk about, like, what could have been. You know, like... And the thing is, like, they could get possibly a new Joker. I mean, they could get... Or they could get Jared Leto to come back. Who knows? But I doubt that Leto would come back. I mean... And... Hearing what happened to David Ayer and all that, I kind of have a newfound respect for Jared Leto. That... I think Jared Leto knew what bullshit was coming. Because if you... I remember somebody pointed this out to me. They sent me like 2 videos. One of Leto on a CW, like, DCEU Kevin Smith was hosting. And Leto was just, like, enthusiastic about what he could do with Joker. And he was just like, the Joker is going to be like this and this and this. And he was enthusiastic about it. And when the promotional tour thing where they were promoting it, Leto had this expression and look of like, I'm fucking done with these people. And stuff. And even in a private Q&A, he was asked about it, and he was just like, fuck Warner Brothers. So, in a way, I kind of have newfound respect for him. I think he kind of knew what bullshit was coming, and I think he was just done with it. So, and I remember somebody said like, I think it was David Ayer said, like, they cut every single footage of Jared Leto's Joker and put in this story thing about they wanted to sell to fans. Mostly fangirls of Harley and Joker, of their romance, and they cut out everything else of it. And I think that's what happened. So, yeah, I think that's what happened. Well, time for the back-to-the-back issues. I went to Half Price Books. Had to wear a mask. I didn't... I'll be honest with you. It was kind of pointless wearing the mask in the store because there weren't that many people in there. But I had to. So, anyway. I'll start with these two. I found these two gems. These two gems of comics in Walmart. They were published in Owensville, Missouri. The first one. This one kind of like, I was just like excited when I saw this, because I was just like, because I was talking about it, like how Teen Titans Go needs another giant comic on the podcast. DC 100-page giant, Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls Special #1. 8 action-packed stories, 2 new DC Superhero Girls stories exclusively on the DC Giant books. I found that. I just was like, I gotta buy it. And one thing I do like about the new publisher, the new printing and stuff for the book, is that the covers are really, they have a grip. You get a grip of the book and stuff. It's not, even the pages are great. Batman Giant #5. 2 new stories, Batman Killer Moth and the Joker's Secret Origin. So, those were at the Walmart. And I think you could buy these giant books on Amazon. You could buy them on Amazon. So, they're really great. I really enjoy them, so. Anyway. Half Price Books. I was in there and it felt so weird. Because Half Price Books, like, St. Louis County is kind of fucking crazy. I'll just say it. Because recently now, they, for those who don't know, those who don't live in Missouri, like I do, shit hit the fan. Again. And it scared the shit out of me this time because, I mean, it didn't really scare me, but a lot of people during, the summer, the summertime, and summer, people want to do things. They want to go outside. They want to go have fun. They want to do things. They want to go live life and stuff. And they went to the Lake of the Ozarks. There were a lot of people at the pool at Lake of the Ozarks. What do you expect people to do in 80-degree summer heat? Just stand around, socially distance? No. People want to go to the pool. The pool bar and stuff. Like, that's what people do. You know, that's their thing. So a lot of people were at the pool. They were swimming. They were relaxing in the water. They were doing, normal things that people did before COVID hit. And a lot of the media in St. Louis and in Missouri threw a bitch fit. They bitched. They complained. They were saying, how dare those people? They should be ashamed of themselves. How dare you enjoy life in a pool? I will say this. I am standing with those people. You know what? Fuck the media is basically what I'm going to say. Like, fuck the media. Fuck them. Who cares about what they think? I mean, here's the thing about it. Even the governor of Missouri, like, I don't agree with him on some things. Like, I don't agree with him on censoring books and banning books. Fuck you for that one. But I do agree with him that people should not, be told what to do, and the state should not be a police state by telling people how they should live their lives and what they should do and what they shouldn't do. And I watched the town hall meeting, and Blondie, the reporter, who kept hammering the governor about the people in that pool. What do you say to them? How do you deal with things like that? Fuck you, dude. Like, those people are in the pool. Like, the pool has chlorine bleach. They have chlorine. They have bleach. They clean that fucking pool. And I don't think you catch corona in a pool. I don't think. But who do I know? I'm not the media experts on the whole fucking, media thing. So, those people who were at the pool and stuff, they should not be in trouble. They should not be punished. They should not be signaled out for being in the pool. You know what? They were people that wanted to cool down in the pool and enjoy life. I mean, there's enough shit going on in the world. Like, Six Flags is telling people that they had to make reservations to go to the park, and they have to wear a mask throughout the park in the summer and stuff, and you have to wear a mask in the zoo throughout the summer. Unless you want, and that's a sign of saying, like, we want you to have a heat stroke. I hate the media. It is crazy enough that if you want to get on a plane and travel somewhere, you have to wear a mask throughout the plane ride. And here's the thing about it. I wore the mask when I go everywhere. And I tell you this, I don't enjoy it. I really don't. It's hard to breathe, for one. One, it's not healthy to breathe your own, air and stuff. You breathing in your own air, you're actually making your immune system weaker. You need to breathe. You need fresh air and stuff. So it's crazy. So that's my rant for it. Anyway, I found 3 books. I found this amazing, cool 2-pack comics. They had like these packs of comics for like $5 to $10. I found 2 $5 ones that I really like. So the 3 single books. Batman 517. Kelly Jones did the artwork. It's where Batman Nightfall. Like, I'm stuck in the 90s Batman. I completed my series on this one. Batman vs. Predator 2 and 3, and I have Batman vs. Predator 1. So might do a reading of that one, because I love the Predator films, and that is so cool, like Batman vs. Predator. So anyway, start off with the 2 packs. I got 2 books so far. Young Justice Not the TV show. This was the Young Justice of, I think, the 90s, 2000s? 2003, yeah. Young Justice. JLA Incarnations. 6 and 7. JLA Showcase and JLA Giant, both number 1s. JLA 80-page Giant. I might read that one. I like the JLA books. I like the 90s Justice League. I think they're really cool. You had I think you had Wally West, the Flash. You had Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern. Pulp Heroes JLA Annual Number 1. John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, leads the charge in that one. JLA Annual Ghosts. I have that one. I saw that. I was just like, I have that book. But it's a mystery pack. You don't know what you're getting in the book. So it's, yeah. JLA number 3. Guerrilla Warfare. All the heroes are like gorillas. I will say this one, I do like the Walter West Flash. This version of the Flash, for those who don't know, is a dark, like, version of the Flash. And his costume is so cool looking, the Walter West Flash. It's like dark red and silver. It has a silver lightning bolt, and it's like dark red. And I thought, like, that is such a cool, badass version of the Flash. I was just like, man, it's a shame that they didn't have that version in it. Alright, Young Justice 52. Young Justice 53. Tim Drake is Robin in this one. You had Bart Allen. And you have Superboy, you have Wonder Girl. Lobo's Kid. So, Young Justice, the free issue. Free issue of Aquaman, the first issue inside. Number 51 of Young Justice. My favorite one before they changed the title. You could tell like they changed the title when I read this one. Young Justice League. Number 50, the 48-page special. And after that one, after that, this is December 2002, Young Justice League. Number 51 in 2003, January. Young Justice. They simply took out the League and they just called it Young Justice. So, I like the cover of this one, of number 50 of Young Justice League, because it's so cool looking. Young Justice, number 49. Oh, I guess they called it Young Justice League because they had more heroes in it, so. Young Justice 48. Damn, like I'm getting my... This is crazy, like I will say this. I just might as well start an entire box of Young Justice. Young Justice 47. Young Justice 46. You know what? I might as well just start a fucking run of Young Justice. JLA Gallery, which is just like artwork of the Justice League. When I first saw this one, I was just like, when was Superman blue? Because this book, Superman is blue. And it's a pretty cool art cover because it's sort of like the tribute to the Justice League for many years of it. I would say this one, I do like the 90s version of them. I do like the 90s version of Justice League. Superman Blue is pretty cool looking. I will admit. I like the version of Batman in it because, like, all you see is, like, he has, like, the long ears. All you see is, like, the black and the yellow symbol. The yellow and black bat symbol. And it's, like, and his cape is, like, it kind of, like, is a mixture of Keaton and Kilmer's Batman. Like, it was just, like, that mixture of it, which I always thought was cool. And finally, JLA number 1, March 2001. So, yeah, that was like, basically I bought like 2 packs of Justice League. I just was in that mood of like buying Justice League, because they had Batman, but it was the Batman series that I already have and stuff. So when I saw like the Justice League, I was just like, I used to read those when I was a kid. So I just decided that, and I really am happy that I found it, because I found the Young Justice comics, and I always talked about I wanted to read those, not the current ones that they have. So for me, I was just like, I was really happy I found it and stuff, and I really like it. I did peek through the Teen Titans Go DC Superhero Girls. I enjoy. I really love it. I always love finding these books and stuff because, you know, I know they're for kids, but I really like it because I mean, it's pretty cool that Catwoman is in it. It's really funny though. Supergirl and Catwoman go at it in the book in like one page. Supergirl's like looking for something, and I'll just read the part of it. I really love it. Supergirl, seriously, Z. A little help and Zatanna. Be with you in a moment. Be with you in a moment, Supergirl, darling. Just leveled up. And they're playing this phone game and stuff, and Catwoman's on her phone. Supergirl picks up Catwoman. Supergirl tosses it back. The woman. Oh, thank you. You are my hero. Supergirl. Yeah. It looks like somebody has to be. Person's yelling, help, help. Supergirl's flying. I'll be right there. There's only one of me. Catwoman. You could just let me go. I promise to be good. Supergirl. Nice try, Catwoman. I really like this version of Catwoman in it. And I do like this book. If you find it anywhere on like Amazon, eBay, anywhere, it's really fun because there's 8 stories. Half of the book is DC Superhero Girls, and the other half is Teen Titans Go. And I think like they should start doing that. It's like they should start publishing those series giant books into that format and stuff, and it would be really fun. I mean, like, I know they're not doing it now. I know the Titans Go series ended. DC Superhero Girls books are still going, and I think like if they just start doing that, like, I think people would buy it. I think kids would buy it and stuff, and it would sell. Like, if you see that book, if any kid sees that book, they would be like, I'd buy it. And it'd just be that great. That's what I like about this printing stuff. And I'm happy that DC put the foot down and be like, you know what, we're going to start printing these books and stuff. And I think it's an excellent format and stuff. And I really like the Giant series, like I said. Dan Didio did a brilliant job with it. I mean, he was the guy who was... I know a lot of people were celebrating and happy that Dan Didio was gone. He left. Everything's back to normal. I think. But he was the guy who was out there carrying the banner for the Giant series. Like, he was just like, this is where comics needs to go into, stores that don't have comics. This needs to happen. And, it opened the door for comic books to be in Walmart and stuff. And I really like it. Like, a lot of people, even though a lot of people look at me weird, going like, why are you buying comics? I don't care. I hold my head up. I put my geek flag down because I love this. I love the Giant books, and I think that's where things need to go, in my opinion. They need to be out in stores. They need to be out everywhere and stuff. So, all right. I'm just looking up something real quick. Let's see. Harley Quinn. Oh, right. Yeah, I was supposed to do like the Harley Quinn season 2 review. I know that. I might as well do it right now because, there won't be. I mean, tomorrow I won't be doing the podcast episode because I have to take my dad up to the doctor, get him checked out and all that. Like, like I said, like earlier in the show, he's not doing great. Like, I think mentally, like, he's just exhausted of this year. I think this year just really took it out of him mentally and stuff. Like, so Lola's awake, and I think she just discovered, like, he's up. So, I mean, basically this year just sort of, like, it kind of took it out of him because, like I said, like, I think I think he just didn't have time to grieve over his brother because everybody was just hounding him for, like, and stuff. And so tomorrow I'll be hanging out with him a lot and getting him to the doctor, getting him, taking him really somewhere to, I know he mentioned, like, I want to go to Half Price Books. I was just like, okay, we'll go to Half Price Books and stuff tomorrow. I know he mentioned that, like, yesterday. He's like, I'm gonna go to Half Price Books tomorrow after the doctor. I was just like, okay, you want to? We can. He goes, yeah, that doctor. I mean, the good news is, like, he quit smoking. He's on the patch. He quit smoking. He was upbeat yesterday. He was kind of like laughing and joking about things. Calling the reporter who believes that a lot of people in Missouri should wear masks at all times when they're outside. My dad was just like, what a fucking moron. And he's just like, you're not wearing a mask. So anyway, I'll talk about Harley Quinn season 2. season 2 for me, in my opinion, was it's a great season so far. I mean, you got Catwoman showing up. Catwoman, always perfect to see Catwoman. And in my opinion, they really did capture Catwoman in the right tone, the right performance, the right role, and stuff. And her first appearance, I absolutely love it. And I love how she got under Harley Quinn's skin throughout that episode. To the point where Catwoman was just like, done my job, see ya, and she leaves them trapped. And stuff. I absolutely love it. Batman's episode was phenomenal. Batgirl, phenomenal. Gordon, I did see the last episode. Gordon busting a cap on Two-Face's goons. Love it. I love that moment in the show. I'm a great cop. And Christopher Minnelli really does a phenomenal job doing the voice of Gordon. And that is the Jim Gordon I would love to see in a live action movie. Like, just, he drinks, he doesn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks. And Mr. Freeze, man, they killed me on that one. Like, I wanted to see Mr. Freeze come back and just, take over Gotham. Bane was great in the season so far. I really can't complain. I can complain about a couple things. Like, I wish they would do a lot with him in the show, in my opinion. I do like the moment where he pushes Harley and Ivy into the pit. And he's just like, oh, they're fine. I do like that one. I think, like I said once to my Catwoman, like, when they killed Penguin off, things for me kind of changed for the show. Like, I felt like them killing Penguin off was kind of dumb and too soon. Just too soon. Like, they just killed off a character that was important, for the show. And I think one thing that's missing in the show, in my opinion, is the Joker. The Joker being gone from the show is a missing part. And it, Joker balanced out Harley Quinn in the show. And I feel like with Harley Quinn without the Joker and all that, it is not, balanced. The show's kind of unhinged and all that. I know there's going to be some people complaining, like, well, Harley and Ivy need their moment. And it's like, shut the fuck up. And I'm so sick and tired of these Harley and Ivy things. Like, they need to be together. Kite Man needs to be gone. And it's like, you're really writing off the show's ending. You really want the show to end quickly and stuff. And I feel like that's where the problem with the show is. It's like, they want the show to have an ending and be done with it. I mean, there's so many stories you could do with Harley Quinn. You can bring in the Suicide Squad. That would be cool, in my opinion. I haven't seen, like, a lot of other characters show up in the show. Like, Nightwing didn't show up. Red Hood didn't show up. A lot of these other characters did. It's just not going anywhere, in my opinion. I mean, not quickly as I want it to be, but I would love to see it, happen. My neighbors are playing their music. My neighbor's been doing this all fucking week, almost. playing their loud ass music. So, in my opinion, I feel like the show is not going anywhere. The only direction it's going in that a lot of people want it to go in is the Harley and Ivy thing. And that for me is what's killing it. That's what's killing it for me, because I'm so tired of this whole forced romance thing on people and stuff. And the thing about it is, when you write a romance story, you don't bum rush it in already. I know some people are like, it's just a comic book, it's just a cartoon. It's like, really, you want to take Harley Quinn, who just got out of a relationship with Joker, who should be on her own so she can grow, find herself, figure out who she is, then move forward. And instead, they just were like, we want to take Harley. Alright, Harley's out of a relationship with the Joker. Put her in a relationship with Ivy. It's like, you can't just take somebody who was in a relationship and just force them into another relationship. You can't do that to somebody at all. So that's my gripe with the season. And I did see Stargirl. The new episode came out. Stars and Stripe. Stripe is what it's called. I did enjoy Stargirl. I do love the timeline of the show. I think it's really great. I haven't seen the second episode, so I can't wait for it. So anyway, I guess that's it for the show. And yep, I saw it. Let's see. I did find out the DC rewards thing, and so far I have 700 points. I need 100 points. I need an extra 100 so I could get the Harley Quinn pins. So, anyway. That's it for the show, and we'll be back Friday. We'll be back. We'll catch up. We'll talk about more things. So, anyway, yeah. Thank you for listening. Again, sorry I wasn't here Monday. It was Memorial Day. Tuesday, I wasn't here because my sister had to go get an ultrasound done to see her baby. And I was watching my youngest niece and nephew, and I found out they love King of the Hill. And they were happy that I bought them. Before I showed up, I bought them Snickers chocolate milk, and they were happy. So they were happy about that one. They were happy about the Snickers chocolate milk. So, and of course now, we got the show and stuff done. Yeah, so it's been kind of a busy week for me. Doing a lot of crazy things. Aw. You're great. Thank you, love. So it's been a crazy week, and yesterday I never seen a cat in a cat farm so angry that I was petting another cat, spending a time with another cat before. It was crazy. So anyway, yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow. Have a, not tomorrow, but Friday. Sorry, Friday we'll be back. So anyway, thank you all for listening. I know we're going to be launching the show on Tumblr pretty soon. A live show on Tumblr. Never done it before. And stuff. And yeah, it's going to be crazy. I haven't been on Tumblr since I saw all those disturbing murder fan sites, like the murderer romance fan site thing. It was weird. So, anyway, so we'll be back Friday. Then we'll go back to our regular schedule programming. So I will see you all Friday. Hope you all have a wonderful tomorrow, and I'll see you soon. Bye.